World news about coronavirus. The general situation of coronavirus infection in the world remains very alarming and tense. The incidence is growing. The number of deaths is increasing. But many people have recovered from this infection. Statistics show a sharp increase in incidence rates worldwide over the past 3 months, and a decrease in the incidence is not observed. Worldwide, the total number of officially confirmed cases of COVID-19 exceeded 4 million people. More than 280,000 patients died from the disease. In some countries that previously announced a relaxation of quarantine restrictions, there has been a new increase in the number of infected. In South Korea, authorities resumed restrictions and closed all bars and restaurants due to a new outbreak after a young man with a confirmed diagnosis visited a number of entertainment venues in Seoul. Authorities report 34 new infections, the highest number in the past month. Of these, 26 cases are of local origin and 8 were imported from abroad. President Moon Jae-in has warned of a possible second wave of the epidemic by the end of the year. The number of infections has also increased in Germany. This happened a few days after the authorities eased quarantine last Wednesday. Institute named after Robert Koch on the study of infectious diseases in his daily bulletin reports that the basic reproductive rate that is, the average number of people infected by one sick person, has risen above 1.1, and now in Germany 667 new cases of infection have been reported. The total number of cases, according to Johns Hopkins University, now stands at more than 171,000 people. About 7.5 thousand patients have died. Professor virologist Karl Lauterbach, a member of the Bundestag from the Social Democratic Party, warned that the coronavirus will begin to spread again. He made this statement when he saw crowds of people walking in his native Cologne on Saturday. We should expect that the number will exceed unity and we will return to infection exponentially. The weakening of measures was very poorly prepared, he wrote on Twitter. In Wuhan, China, the city from which the coronavirus pandemic began, the first new COVID-19 case was recorded in more than a month. The 89-year-old man, who is now in critical condition, became infected. Previously, he had no symptoms, but then the test revealed the presence of the virus. In total, according to the Chinese State Health Committee, 14 new cases of infection have been registered in the country. In the United States, 3 coronavirus special staff at the White House self-insulated after contact with a person with a confirmed diagnosis of COVID-19. According to the American publication Politico, the coronavirus was discovered by Katie Miller, spokeswoman for the U.S. Vice President Mike Pence. Among those who went to quarantine or drive, Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute for the Study of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Dr. Robert Redfield, director of the Center for the Control of the Spread of Infectious Diseases, and Stephen Kahn, commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration. The death of 3 children in New York from inflammatory processes possibly related to coronavirus infection made State Governor Andrew Cuomo warn of a completely new chapter in the history of COVID-19. According to experts, the coronavirus causes only minor symptoms in children. According to Cuomo, last week in New York, up to 85 children were hospitalized in a state of toxic shock with symptoms characteristic of Kawasaki disease, in which vascular inflammation occurs. The mucous membranes of the skin are affected. For 3 deceased children, COVID-19 was confirmed. Testing of the rest continues. This is something new. It is only developing, Cuomo said. At the same time, medical experts are not yet sure that the death of children is directly related to coronavirus. Cuomo also announced on Sunday that all staff in nursing homes in the state should be tested twice a week for the COVID-19. If the operator of a nursing home cannot provide testing for employees, then he will lose his license, the governor said. In the event that for the guests of the closed nursing home there is no place in other houses, they will be redistributed to one of the state hospitals, Cuomo noted. France and Spain have weakened quarantine measures since the beginning of next week. According to official figures in France, 80 people died from COVID-19 on Saturday, the lowest mortality rate since early April. The number of deaths in French nursing homes has also decreased. In Spain, half of the country will move from Monday to the first phase of quarantine exit. People will be able to gather up to 10 people and walk the streets. Restaurants will begin to take away. Stores will open in which goods are sold not essential. However, these exemptions will not affect such large cities as Madrid, Barcelona and several others where the situation with the number of patients was the worst in the country. For them, the transition to the first phase is delayed for at least a week. In Belgium, from Sunday it is allowed to invite up to 4 people. Last week, Prime Minister Sophie Wilms announced plans to allow people to gather in small groups, since it became unbearable for many to not see loved ones. In Australia, on Sunday, police arrested 10 people protesting against quarantine measures outside the Parliament building in Melbourne. About 150 people neglected the rules of social distance and held a rally. The penalty for non-compliance with quarantine is $1,600 (1,045 US). Australia is gradually weakening, preparing to make its economy safe from the point of view of coronavirus infection by July.